Vanderveen Award when she was younger, and had shown to the levels with Ashlyn and Caitlin. Yeah, so this is actually 4th generation out of Alaska then from her, and then before that is the horse, the grandmother from Alaska was Columbia, and Ari can tell more about the Bria line and the Columbia, and then you have the Bria line of the Stallions 007. Yeah. So we can let her go, and then Ari can talk a little bit more about those years of those mares.
Look first and then start. As you start, not bad. Huh? In northern part of Holland, you said, but it's very good, and said, yeah, to a horse, we think about the horse. We have a tremendous horse. The people born in the north of the Netherlands said, not too bad. But starts very good, eh? From that we like that. As you start from the first thought, from the first canter.
It's a mare as well. It's a mare? Yeah. 2-year-old? Yeah. Cool.
A lot of suppleness. And a lot of use of his whole body.
I think now what you see in the canter is interesting to take into consideration because she's a bit impressed. And then she goes like that. And you can easily judge it and say, oh, it's got no posture. But now you have to see what it does in the turns and how it uses the hind leg and how it can turn and how it can go forward and go back. And then you know what you have in the hind leg.
And the first week.
And it's when I started at the KWPN and at the first mare shows, they were kind of used to letting them trot really fast on the long side. And then I said, I don't want them to have that much speed. I want them to have a normal speed, but I want to see the corners. And I want them to go round. So we can see how in the corners they use their body. And it's really, really nice to see it. This one, that you can see it starts already to take over the weight. And when she drops the pole, still the hind leg comes through and carries and goes forward.
Oh no.
And remember, there's no shoe under this front leg. So it's a really nice, natural technique of the front leg, a lot of swing in the body. And there as well, as she comes back and still the hind leg is in the rhythm, the engine is still there. When she needs to go forward, it's really easy to go and to give a bit more. And always the same rhythm. It's fun, this one next year.
It's the same that we like, not very huge arenas. There's some breeders said, oh, the arena is too short to show my horse. Make them bigger, make them longer. No, we like shorter, compacter arenas. Then you see more, give you more. What is doing? What is how is handling the horse? When we come back and come forward. Therefore, when you start also the shows by hand, make the arena smaller and do more transmissions. This is a very nice horse. The bending, the use of his body, use of his legs.
So El Primo is the sire, or you guys have to do it?
El Primo's the sire, but I was just thinking, if you see her go now, you just want to sit on top and have fun. It's so easy, it's so natural, you can just feel yourself going there. And then you can imagine if you have one with this quality, sometimes people say you don't have to do this or that with a 4-year-old or a 3-year-old because it's too much for them. But when you have this quality from nature, and they're good in the head, really simple, you just have to sit on, and you will get it. Did you see it? She was always standing still. Still, the hind leg sat. Come on, I will take over the weight, and I'm there. And then, okay, for sure it's a bit looking towards the future, but if you have a hind leg like that, and it's always coming and it's always carrying, it's so nice to extend and collect and feel what's happening in the body.
Okay.
Okay, but wait, now a difficult question because you have a mare like this, for sure.
I think I'm not gonna.
If you're critical, there's still points you want to
Going to because they're going to scream at each other.
improve. But this one,
Oh,
how do you want to breed it? What's, if you want to have a foal from this one, what are the thoughts you have on a stallion? What do you want to add, or do you just want to keep things?
Well, for me, this would be a mare for Pharaoh. Yeah, you get a little bit more size, more bone, a little bit more posture, yeah, and carrying power. Yeah, but again, too, it's you've seen the mother, the grandmother was a super talented horse also, and so you have a lot of sport in the family. But she could be a little bit taller. Yeah, she's a little bit smaller. Yeah, but at the same time, she's a good mover and the whole body, yeah? So she has a really good use of the body, and if you want to pick on her, you can see it's a little bit short in the croup. But all those things are less important if you see the horse move. Yeah,
And to be honest, hang on, to be honest, Billy says it's a little bit smaller, but for me, for a 2-year-old, I like the size.
This horse's croup is more sloped than, like in the beginning you were talking about the horse that had a nice round or horizontal, whereas this horse's croup is a little bit more sloped, and it really came underneath nicely. So that's good.
it's good, but it's also because that stifle is in the right place, yeah? and then the rest is a little bit less important, yeah, of less important. But you can see the horse uses himself well. There's a lot of reach. Yeah.
I think that's what we mentioned earlier, that maybe like 20 years ago you would have said, oh, it's short in the croup, and it's really not, I don't want it because of that. And now you're saying, okay, she has it, but look at how she handles this and what she can do. You want it to be like that. And if that's with a little bit shorter croup, then well, let it be like that.
Our breeding goal is not the stature. Our breeding goal is a horse under the saddle. And then it's more important how he uses his body than how he is built. Okay, when he is built correct and functional, then it is easy to show the correctness and the nice gaits. But some horses have, so this one, a little bit sloped, a little bit rounded in the group, but she used it very well. That is more important when you give a final note, a final impression. And of course, when we said that for the next partner of this horse, the first partner like a little bit more length in the group, okay. But when you give the end note, the final notes of this horse, then it's more important how he is used than how he is built. That is functionality. And the discussion about taller and bigger horses, okay. There has to be a combination with the rider. When I can sitting on the big horse is also not nice. Give like this horse. But our offspring is also bigger than we are. And then, okay, then the breeding coders have Hans-Peter Minderhout cannot sit on the pony, for example. But the risk is how bigger the horse, especially young age, veterinarians had more problems with ships and kind of things. That can be too big.
So what's important is that you also can see in a young horse, yeah, and this one is then more extreme, of course, but in a young horse you can see already the adjustability in the horse, yeah. And if you saw Makana, she had a little bit the same in the saddle, yeah, that she came back and you saw her go more uphill, and so this one has that same technique and even easier, yeah. And so that is breeding, yeah, that you have the traits that the mare have, that you try to improve on it, yeah. So it's not that you breed opposite to opposite, because then you just kind of stir the pot, you know. If you say, oh, my horse has a short neck, I got to breed with a horse with a long neck, or we have a short croup with a long croup. Yeah, you got to say, okay, my horse is this, and you have some points that you want to improve on, and you try to find stallions that do that. But you gotta not just go opposite to opposite. You gotta always breed strong points to strong points, and then you get better. And otherwise you just mix it all up and you don't really go forward. Yeah?
Come only in the middle.
Yeah, you get a gray one.
Grey
Just
Moses.
Nothing. I think the more horses you have from a line, and like the more generations you have, like now Willy does with the Valeska line, the more you know what's really strong embedded in that line and what you can use and maybe, well, experiment a little bit. And in my experience, the mares with which I've ridden under the saddle or I competed, it's way easier for me to breed them because I know them so well. I know what I want to keep, and I know the points that I'm like, okay, every day was a bit difficult. And when you have a mare that you didn't read or that you like bought from a different line, it's way more difficult because they're not in your system that much. What do we have here, Willy?
This is Vitalis. Yeah, Vitalis Bordeaux painted black. So, and mother is a almost FEI 4th level horse. Did a very good EPOP. As a young horse, comes out of the same mother line as Koning himself. It's owned by Judy. And Caitlin owns now the mother. But if you breed for keeping your horse and you know that you have to ride it when it's 3 and you know you have to develop it, yeah, then you select for sport and you select for a horse that also has the value, yeah, in order to put the time and money into it to develop it, yeah. So it's sort of a choice and what you can do yourself. If you get the horse has to be tamed and you have to pay for everything, that's hard, yeah. So we're fortunate here that together we can help each other, get the young ones started, yeah, and bring them along to the age of 4 or 5 teamworks. Yeah, and that is that's a little bit a strong point here for us. Yeah. What you see is the moment of takeoff is most important. Yeah, that you just if you go slow, you can see this one trots the same as the other one slow. If they cannot trot small, that they only can trot big, that's not a good horse. Yeah, so they gotta have a horse that has the adjustability. Yeah, and you can see that already. Especially because she's a little fresh, yeah, but otherwise she relaxes and the canter get even better, yeah.
I think if we look at the confirmation of this one, she's a bit more compact than the other ones that we saw. A bit less long in the back. And not as big enough for me, but not as big. And then you can see that it's easier to have a bit more power over it. And what's really nice to see, what Lily said as well, like the way she stands here and the way she comes back. Hi, so, you want to say something? But the way she just stops into halt, you can see it's the way that you want the mechanics in our body to work. And in the end, it's not about being able to do it at this age for a really, really long time, but it's the real moments you see that you're like, okay, there's quality in it. There's well, behind it has power, it's got bending, it's going in the right direction. Okay, now she's a bit fresh, so maybe she could swing even more over the back. But still, there's a lot of balance. And activity with the contact as well. There also, when she changes in direction and still the hind leg comes through in the same rhythm, same posture, same balance. That's a really important thing that Lily just mentioned, that you want to adjustability and okay, for a lot of young horse competitions it's nice when they have that big trot, but in the end we break for the top sport and then you want it to be able to go smaller, to collect and to still have an active and carrying hind leg.
It's the color. Like I've heard chestnuts are hotter than bay horses. Is that just silliness or is that a real thing?
No, yeah, it's the same that they say if the white-eyed are bit or not. I don't know, I think it's something that's like an experience. You say, I had no chestnut mare and I was really afraid it would be a difficult one. But it looks until now that it's really good. I don't think it is like that. And I don't think that we really can prove that. It's a lot in the lines and maybe there's some hot lines that give a lot of chestnuts. But for sure, but it's like with mares as well, huh? Mares are a bit different in the character, especially than when you have a gelding and the hormones are always steady. So for sure, I think the gender is more of an influence than the color. What do you think, Willie? Think color changes?
A good horse has no color. Yeah.
But an expensive one might have a different color. An
Yeah,
expensive
that could be,
one.
but no, color is not taken. So, but it's important also is that you see the horse is motivated. You know, you don't need to keep chasing him. You know, he goes whenever he's going, and he's right away active. Yeah, it's not like, yeah, it's easy.
That's maybe worth mentioning because in this time of welfare and everybody having an opinion about our sport, there's a really thin line between being gentle and relaxed and being lazy. And there's a really thin line between having self-motivation and being active and being tense. And you want the one that's able to relax. I always say you want an on and an off button. You want the one that's able to relax but still has the energy and the motivation to walk from itself. And that's something, it still goes and goes, huh? It becomes more looser now. You see even more elevation in the knee and in the front leg, really nice. But that's something in your breathing as well, and that's really difficult to see if you're not sitting on top. But it's one of the most important things to have, and that's why it's really nice that we had a lot of horses here under the saddle. In the end, that part is the most important. This is fun, and it's the beginning, and it gives information. But the development and the rideability later on is the most important part.
We have a short discussion about color, but really, we all agree that no, color has no influence. No. Only the grey ones, you have to clean them up every day.
And I always say, if you have one with a special color, you're going on competition, you have to make sure the first one is a good, huh? Because they will remember it. And it will be the really good colored one, or it will be the bad one, and it will follow you for the rest of its career. So take a bit more time, you've got a special color, to make sure that you have a good first impression. Because there are a lot of chestnut ones and there are a lot of bay ones, and they will forget it. But one with a special color, the judges remember.
We've been looking at the qualities of the dressage horse, but the question is, what qualities would we be looking at for the jumpers?
Yeah, jumpers is a different breeding direction, you know, but the similarity have is that they need to have rideability, character. Yeah, but they like not a long front leg, yeah, because they need to have quick folding and take off. They usually have a more horizontal neck because the neck has to go down so that the withers can come up. If they have a big neck, you know, they jump like that. Yeah, so they're totally different characteristics, but again, the horse has to be functional over the jump. Yeah, and the horse has to last, so it's always important that the fundament in the horse is correct. Yeah, and the big difference I think with the jumpers and the dressage horses is also that the dressage horse has to work, yeah, warm up, and then they have to do a test of 6 minutes, and a Grand Prix compete at that level, so they have to be very strong and lot more wear and tear. A jumper, yeah, they warm up and they in 1 minute they're done in the course. Yeah, so they have a lot less wear and tear on the legs and joints than a dressage horse. So that's why they are built different, and they also train different. They're not trained to get bigger and all that stuff. So it's a it's a little bit a different program, and so you cannot. Some things you can compare, I think, in the training and the trust and the connection and self-carriage, that's all the same, yeah, and jumping in a way is riding dressage over fences. Yeah, that's how you have to look at jumping. If you see a jumper that runs to the fence, they're always going to make mistakes too, yeah, so it's the balance and how they can use the body, and the technique in the horse is hetzelfde too, that the withers have to come up, yeah, same as a dressage horse, but then in the end, the outcome is a little different, yeah.
Yeah, and also the jumping sport is evaluated. In the past, we have high fences and strong fences. The material was lighter and lighter, and we like, therefore, more athletic, more use of his body, athletic horses. And the distance between the fences are variable. They have to learn more shorter or closer. We cannot build higher. We have to stop at 160. And animal welfare that kind of discussion. You have to stop at 160, but you have to make a ranking. Dus the builder of the fences have to think about the distance between the fences, light the material. When there's a lot of wind, then you can fix it, the poles. And that asks for the breeders, for jumpers also, that she selected more select powerful horses, but also very athletic horses. And for the durability by jumping, some breeders like it when a stallion is jump about the fence with a lot of air and a lot of space between the pole and the body and the legs of the horses. But that is not for durable. For example, Fanny, he is become 20 years old in the Grand Prix jumping. They have ever not more space between the pole as this distance. And I mean, some horses, young horses, like spectacular, jumps extreme. It's the same with the extreme trotters. And durability is the problem. That is more athletic, and also a jumper rider is not jumping with the horse every day in a week, maybe one day. The rest of the labor and developing of the horse, you do it by trot and by canter. And also walk. There's also the durability and the rideability, and she likes also not the spectacular trot, but an easy walking trot, labor trot. They have to develop make the horse stronger, more in trot and canter than doing the jumping. Also horses, the jumping is also a lot of change in the last 20 years. The vehicle actually more suppleness, more careness, more flexibility in the canter. That are the breeding calls more and more for the jumpers.
Raebria, zoals bij Koning, Bellissimo, and then Velasca. 3 years old. So we talked about the technique, and you can see balance in the horse again too. See, and then the technique is heritable. You can see the 2-year-old filly that you just saw is related to this one again. So a half sister to this one was the mother of the 2-year-old. So with the front and back matches.
Oh, I think it's really nice to see. For sure, she's fresh, and for sure she wants to walk. But the moment that she turns and that she comes back, you can see that she does it in the right way. And it's the same if you have like an IBOP or another dressage test, and a horse makes a transition. You want the horse to stay in balance. You have a couple of them that will go and make like the hind up and then on the front back. And it's the same when you have them doing free movement. You can tell just by how they twist and turn what the mechanic in their body is. And you don't need 10 minutes for that. You just need them to take off once or twice, to come back once or twice, and you know enough. When they're really, really tense, we need a bit more time, and other times we just leave it move longer, so the owners got time to look at the horse as well. But in the end, you can see really fast what the horse does in the body, how it will carry itself, and which chance for a good mechanic there is in the body. At least that's something that's really in the Valeska line, being able to collect themselves like that.
Yeah, it's a little bit the line itself, the media line, of course, of many sport horses that are competing at the highest level out of that line. Yeah, but also is important because you also know when a horse gets a little excited, that usually the canter becomes a little bit bouncy, and that they don't really canter and finish the stride. But if you see this one now, she's a little fresh, and if you saw the 2-year-old, they were fresh, but they still made really clean transitions into the canter. Yeah, and that for a riding horse or for a sport horse, is a very important trait. So that when he engages the hind leg, that the horse right away can jump into the canter, finish his stride, cover ground, and not when the horse then comes up and the canter stride becomes shorter. So they gotta be more collected, but not shorter in the front legs, so that the stride gets shorter. If you want to breed horses for the stop, they have to be Yeah, and you need to have good conformation. And this one you see, yeah, is a very nice rectangular type with really good length of the croup. Yeah, and then you can just add to the things that you like about the horse and find the stallion that you really like, yeah, and that you add to the good points, yeah, and then you get better, yeah. Yeah, and if you see what her mother has produced and her grandmother, yeah, then you just get every generation you go a step up, yeah. But it takes a long time. It's not something you just do, yeah. And then what's also very important is, of course, especially because of you have to keep it for a long time, is the soundness in the horses, yeah. So correct fundament, correct feet, good legs. That's very important too, because all those things are very heritable, yeah. So, but again, yeah, just I think the main thing is to see that in order to, it's not easy to in one generation say, oh, I'm going to pick this stallion and then I'm going to produce my next horse. Yeah, you have to find a line or a mare line that you like, and then you start developing, and that you breed good horses, and maybe that horse is not the right horse for you, but it could be the right horse for somebody else if you have a good horse. Yeah, but if you say, oh, I'm going to breed my next horse, that's almost getting a lottery ticket and say this is my winning ticket. Yeah, that it's not going to go that easy. Yeah, so and it's, yeah, you can only do so many, so it's not the volume that's going to make it successful. It is selection, and have a plan. Yeah, have a short-term plan, long-term plan, and then yeah, and then it becomes fun, and then you develop something that you can go on with. Yeah. But it has to kind of be in your system to do it. You know, otherwise, if you say, okay, I just want to ride, then a lot of times it's a lot cheaper than go buy one. Yeah, buy one that you can ride, and then you go on and you do that. You know, but if you say you want to produce horses and do that, and that's what you like, then it's very important that you do your homework and really. Yeah, like I said, have a long-term plan. Yeah? Not that you go from, oh, now I have a foal, I have to sell it. Yeah, because it doesn't go that way. Yeah, you have to be able to say, okay,